Caleb Plant continuously calls out Jermall Charlo and begs him not to duck him and says he easy work. Before we get in this next video, make sure that you smash on my like button, hit my like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subbed to the channel, and make sure that you catch me live Monday through Friday, 11:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Mountain time, and 1:30 Central time, and that's 2:30 on the East Coast. So Caleb Plant, it looks like that he wants some of Jermall Charlo, and he not letting up. He's been continuously calling out Jermall Charlo, telling Jermall Charlo, don't duck me, you easy work, and let's make this happen. Now, Caleb Plant, he just came off the biggest fight of his life against Canelo Alvarez, which, you know, he got stopped in the 11th round, but a lot of people were shocked and surprised about how good of a performance that Caleb Plant put up against Canelo Alvarez. Now, Caleb Plant is 21-1 with 12 KOs, and he's 29 years of age. Jermall Charlo is 32-0 with 22 KOs, and he's 31 years of age. Now, this is a fight personally that I've been wanting to see for a long time. It first came on my radar about a year ago when Jermall Charlo, he did an interview with Brian Custer on the Last Stands podcast, and I don't remember how Caleb Plant's name got brought up, but Caleb Plant's name got brought up, and Jermall Charlo said, hey, I'll stop Caleb Plant in 3 rounds. Caleb Plant can't last more than 3 or 4 rounds with me. He pretty much disrespected Caleb Plant and talked about Caleb Plant like he was just straight trash. Now, Caleb Plant, due to my knowledge, at that point in time, Caleb Plant didn't really respond to that, right? Jermall Charlo was 160 pounds at that time, and Jermall Charlo, he was actually going through a back and forth feud with David Benavidez because he had said some things about David Benavidez, and David Benavidez said, hey, you can't say my name without fighting me, so let's make the fight happen. And then Jermall Charlo started backpedaling and saying that he wasn't a 168-pound fighter and whatnot. So I think that's pretty much one of the reasons Caleb Plant hadn't really paid it no attention, because he looked at Jermall Charlo and said, okay, this man is saying that he's not coming up to 168 pounds, and I'm not going to 160, so I'm not going to entertain him. And then shortly after, we start hearing rumors with Caleb Plant linked to Canelo Alvarez, and then, you know, everybody know that they got that fight done. Now, another incident that happened is before the weigh-in with Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo, they had met each other in the hallway. They met, you know, passing through the hallways of the MGM, and Jermall Charlo tried to come up to Caleb Plant, and he tried to, you know, give Caleb Plant his good luck and everything, and Caleb Plant wasn't trying to really hear Jermall Charlo. And Jermall Charlo was like, man, why you acting like that? You ain't gotta act like that. I'm rooting for you. I don't like Canelo Alvarez. And Caleb Plant was on some kind of like, hey man, all right, that's cool. I ain't really trying to hear all of that, but because I'm focused on Canelo Alvarez. But yeah, that's what's up. So anyway, after that, you know, we know what happened between Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. He ended up getting stopped in the 11th round. No, then it's like, okay, what's next for Caleb Plant? A lot of people started linking his name to Jermall Charlo after that. Jermall Charlo, it was rumored that he was going to move up to 168 pounds. So, hey, that's a great fight, people start saying. Let's see Jermall Charlo and Caleb Plant get it on. Well, Caleb Plant, he got wind of it, and he says, hey, that's a fight I like. Matter of fact, that's a fight that I love. That's a fight that we need to make happen. And then Caleb Plant, he didn't stop there. He said, hey, Jermall Charlo, you talking too much. Stop all the talking and all the riffraff that you doing, and let's make this fight happen. And don't duck me. And Caleb Plant, you can see this is a fight that he really want. And this is a big fight with PBC, and this is a big pay-per-view fight. Jermall Charlo, he needs a big name on his resume, you know, and Caleb Plant is just the man to give him that. Caleb Plant, he came back and he says that Jermall Charlo is easy work. He said Jermall Charlo ain't a tough task for him at all. It makes me want to see the fight even more that he says this. Now, we all know that recently we've been hearing that Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez probably gonna lock it up in May. It looks like that Canelo Alvarez, the fight that he was trying to make against Makabu at the cruiserweight division, that looked like that might have fell through because Makabu has a mandatory, and his mandatory is not taking no step aside money. So Canelo Alvarez has to look elsewhere. It looks like that PBC is looking to pay Canelo Alvarez career high money once again to fight Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez's name have been linked together much longer than Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo's name. Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez is a huge pay-per-view fight. It's a fight that fans been screaming for a long time, and it's a fight that it looked like that it finally might happen after Canelo Alvarez over a year ago, he promised. He said, hey, now that I'm a free agent, now that I'm no longer, bound to a promoter, y'all will get to see fights like Jermall Charlo that you've been begging me for years. Yeah, I'm going to fight Jermall Charlo. So it looks like that Canelo Alvarez is being a man of his word, and he's taking this Jermall Charlo fight. Now, what we don't know is what weight class is this fight going to take place at if it does happen. Jermall Charlo, I've heard that he's been sent an offer from Canelo Alvarez's team, and he pretty much said that he'll get back and he'll let them know soon, right? Now, the big thing is, like I said, if this fight does happen, what weight class is it going to take place? Is it going to take place at 175 pounds? Is it going to take place at 168? Is it going to take place somewhere in between? Because Jermall Charlo is a big, huge middleweight that can easily go up to 175. But we don't know. He's never fought past middleweight. So we don't know what Jermall Charlo going to do. And Jermall Charlo, he's turned down a Canelo Alvarez contract before in the past. So would it just be outrageous and something unthinkable for Jermall Charlo to turn this contract down? No, because he's done it before. So if that happens, then we could see Jermall Charlo versus Caleb Plant. But if we do get Jermall Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, a fight that I'm looking for is another big fight in the super middleweight division that we've been wanting for a long time, and that's Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. And me personally, I think that David Benavidez is a much more hard task for Caleb Plant than a Jermall Charlo. I think Jermall Charlo's style favors Caleb Plant in a lot of different areas. Now, a lot of people have concern about Caleb Plant's power. Can he, keep Jermall Charlo off of him with his power? But I think that Caleb Plant has the skills to confuse, and he has the skills to beat Jermall Charlo. Now, David Benavidez is a much difficult fight and a much different style fight, but he can beat a David Benavidez also. But Caleb Plant, he has a lot of big fights, right? Mainly those two big fights in a super middleweight division that he can make happen after coming off a big Canelo Alvarez fight. We've seen Caleb Plant, he's been taking a lot of vacations. Actually, Caleb Plant been vacationing ever since he took the L to Canelo Alvarez. He's been on vacation for months now. And we pretty much was looking at Caleb Plant for being a gym rat, a guy that always stayed in shape before. But I don't know if he's taking this loss with Canelo Alvarez well. But if he does take this loss well, he could use this as a learning experience. And I think if he does that, Caleb Plant will get better and better. A Canelo Alvarez loss is only going to make him better if it doesn't mess with his head and his mind frame, right? And he could go into a fight with David Benavidez, taking what he learned from a Canelo Alvarez and be a much better fighter. Or go into a fight with a Jermall Charlo, taking what he learned from Canelo Alvarez and be a much fighter. So, the skies is pretty much the limit for Caleb Plant. We just got to wait around and see what he wants to do. But right now, it's looking like that he won't smoke with Jermall Charlo. Now, we haven't heard Jermall Charlo respond to him lately, but we know one thing, and one thing is for sure. Caleb Plant is on Jermall Charlo's helmet. He want that smoke with Jermall Charlo. And if Jermall Charlo does not fight Canelo Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo, we need to see Jermall Charlo versus Caleb Plant. Make the fight happen. That's my video. Hit my like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subbed to the channel, and let me know what you think about this in the comments. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.